All right, dude, we are live. What's up, guys? This is Dem Keys, and today we are going to be learning web development through Rust. Though I'm not entirely sure how much Rust is going to be involved. Rust will be involved once I bring Dioxys into it, but currently we're going to be using Zola, which is a static site generator written in Rust. So at least that part of it is, Rust based. I don't know how much Rust we're going to be using while trying to build the website itself. I guess we'll find out. But I'm excited. I'm excited because ever since I learned about the concept of static site generators, I've been interested in checking checking these tools out because I haven't touched web development in a long time. Back when I was doing it, to give you an idea, for anybody who even knows anything about web development, to give you an idea of how far back my knowledge of not knowledge, how far back how long ago I did a tiny bit of web development. It wasn't even like too much. It was a small bit. I learned the basics, which was like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. That was like way back when. And then I did a tiny bit of stuff with those three things alone. And then I tried using something like Dreamweaver. Now, I'm not sure exactly what to. Give me a second. Yeah, I'm not sure what exactly I should call this application, so I'm gonna look it up. This was like um, at this point in time, maybe 2 decades ago. Let's call it a decade and a half, maybe. I think so. Close to 2 decades ago is when I touched Dreamweaver, and a couple of years before that, I learned about HTML. So it was in my teen years when I learned about HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and I got into like doing very basic web pages and doing like very basic functionality. And then there was the Dreamweaver thing. I'm looking it up right now. Apparently, it's owned by Adobe. I don't know who owned it back then. Um, I don't know if it's always been owned by Adobe or Adobe purchased it and then um, wait, give me a second here. Adobe Dreamweaver is a proprietary web development tool for from Adobe. It was created by Macromedia. That's where I remember that name from. Macromedia Flash. I remember that. I haven't heard the name Macromedia in a long time. But yeah, it was created in 1997 and developed by them until Macromedia was acquired by Adobe Systems in 2005. Okay. Wait, was it Dreamweaver or DreamWorks? No, DreamWorks is a movie thing, isn't it? There's some kind of like publishing company. DreamWorks Animation. DreamWorks Animation LLC is an American animation studio owned by Comcast's NBC Universal. Okay, yeah. So this is animation stuff. Yeah, that's my very basic knowledge in web development. I didn't go too deep into it. Oh, another thing. A couple years later, I did get into CMSs, content management systems, stuff like WordPress, for example. So I was introduced to that concept as well, and that's great because that gives you a much more higher level set of development tools to do a lot of like the low level HTML, CSS, and JavaScript stuff. So like you don't always have to go down to that level. You can use a content management system to create the content and apply some kind of template to your website, and then you can use plugins to add functionality. And there's like higher level systems that handle adding all of that functionality for you, which is great, awesome. I didn't go too deep into web development though. It was just like At the time, I was trying to do something with it. I was trying to maybe make a bit of a career out of it, but my interest kind of shifted um, towards desktop app development, and eventually I got into game development, and then it was all desktop from there. But yeah, I haven't touched web development in a long time. I am not interested in web development, which is why I'm happy about these static site generators, because they make it so you don't have to go too deep into the web development side. The whole idea with these, we're gonna learn more about how Zola works, but like a lot of the static site generators, they work in similar ways. Maybe not exactly the same way, but in similar ways to how Zola works. Generally, you create documents that contain the content. They describe what content you want to post, and then, well, you add the content that you want to post to the website, or that you want within a certain web page, and then you use certain syntax, like I believe in the case of Zola it's common mark. So basically, in this case, it's a kind of markdown, but there could be other languages that people use as well. You essentially use this syntax to like enclose the various data segments of your content, and that's your content document, right? Then you'll have a separate template, which you don't always have to make from scratch, because there are community made ones and built-in templates and stuff like that. Basically, the static site generator is going to take the template and take your content and put it together to build static web pages where your content is there, but the template is dictating what functionality the site is going to have, and more importantly, what the appearance of the site is going to be. That's what the template does. It's essentially a website theme that you can use. And actually, maybe I should just call it theme, because in this case, the word template has a very specific meaning. Which, oh, by the way, this is another interesting thing that I learned. Um, Zola uses a templating engine called Terra. Terra is what handles, apparently Terra is what handles. Um, Actually, no, hold on. I was about to say Terra is what handles the data coming together with the website, but it's kind of a mix. It's kind of a mix. Gemini had described it very well, but the basic idea is Terra has a templating language that you use, and you within that language, not within that language, within your document, within your template document, you would be using Terra's templating language to define what the website looks like. This is a mix of HTML and some Terra language. And then later on, Zola is responsible for bringing the data and that template together. So Zola doesn't actually do any of the translation of the template documents into the final thing. I believe that's done by Terra itself. Zola does help do a bunch of the extra work that is required, like bringing the data from your content document into the HTML side. And I guess Zola also handles the joining of the template and the content together. But yeah, we're gonna read more about how Zola works. I'm trying to actually hold on. I'm trying to remember if so, like, okay, you have your template defined, right? That doesn't generate the HTML directly. The HTML is generated when the site is generating the final thing. So you would be using the Terra templating language to define the template, define the entire theme, and then you would use markdown files to define your content. And then Zola's job is to bring the content and the template together. But it still uses Terra in order to parse all of that, the template language that you have typed out. So it can then produce the final HTML that's going to be rendered. I'm just trying to remember if I've got that right because that makes sense, right? That makes sense. Yeah, yeah, that's what it was. But okay, we're gonna read this. Later on I'll find out if I was right or wrong about that. But we are getting into web development with Rust, more specifically with Zola. I still don't know how much Rust is involved in this, but I'm saying web development with Rust. Um, what else? What else? What else? There was something more. But we're gonna get into this. We're gonna start learning about Zola. We are 11 minutes into the stream. Yeah, okay. So the great thing is GitHub allows you to host, at the very least, I know one site. I don't know if they allow more than one. I'm gonna have to check, but at the very least, they do allow you to host one website, one static website, um, through something called GitHub Pages. So every GitHub account can have at least one website, and I've seen a bunch of cool looking GitHub accounts. Like when you visit the profile itself, you'll see a pretty nice page that's been set up. Generally, like if you go look at my GitHub profile, you're gonna see a list of repos or maybe a few stats here and there of like what I've been doing. But I've seen GitHub accounts that you open it up and it looks like there's a web page that's being rendered. You have the you have the stuff on the left side. I don't know if I'm still logged in on this. Hold on. Actually, I think I have one of the GitHub things open here. Maybe I could just reopen that. We have the noise thing. Uh, Wait. Oh shit, that's examples. That's not a good idea to open up. Oh wait. Zola might have a GitHub. Zola has a GitHub. We're gonna open up the GitHub, and then I'm gonna open up my profile from there. So you guys can see what I'm talking about. Actually, okay, let's go to get Zola. But yeah, okay, anyways, like I was saying, I wait, this is an organization. This is probably not this is an organization, not a good example. Just a second. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. Okay, so you open up my profile and you see this. I should be a little I should be a little careful here. Um, but yeah, anyways, you open up my profile and then you see this kind of thing, and then you have like, oh, actually, I think I can zoom out. This might be their newer layout, but I have seen much more cooler looking front pages, let's call them. I've seen much more cooler looking front pages than, you know, this. And I have a feeling that it might be part of their website, but I might be actually, you know what? Let's ask Gemini. Or I could just do a simple Google search. If the Google search doesn't reveal anything useful, then I can um, customizing GitHub profile. Customizing your profile, you can customize your profile so that other people can get a better sense of who you are and the work you do. Great. Awesome. Managing your profile README. Oh, a profile README. That's what it is. That's what it is. People have profile READMEs. I completely forgot about that. I Completely forgot about that. Yes. What do you call the? Is there a specific name? You can add a README to your GitHub profile and tell other people about yourself. To tell other people about yourself, profile READMEs are not available to managed user accounts. Okay. Um, the repository is public. It contains a file named README at its root. And okay, adding a profile README. Okay, so you create a new repo. Okay, public, toggle, add README to on. Under repository name, oh, okay, we're still setting up the repo. Removing a profile README. Wait, where do you click? Okay, click edit README. The generated README file is pre-populated with a template to give you some inspiration for your profile README. Where, hold on, where exactly is this saying that it's going to be? Oh, there it is. Under repository name, type a repository name that matches your GitHub username. For example, if your username is Octocat, the repository name must be Octocat. That's how it's done. Okay. All right. I was wondering like where exactly is the setting where we are setting this README as the profile README, but I'm guessing GitHub does it in this way. Dude, I should keep this in mind, and maybe I can design something interesting for my front page on GitHub. Yeah. Anyways, I was talking about GitHub pages, through like building hosting a website through GitHub pages. I'm gonna load up the GitHub pages document, the GitHub pages documentation. Um, Give me a second here. Where is the option? Okay, let's just type it out here. GitHub pages. GitHub pages documentation. Learn how to create a website directly from a repository on GitHub. Explore website building tools like Jekyll and troubleshoot issues with your so and so. Okay, then we have GitHub pages here. All right, I think we are good. Okay. Right. So, learn how to create a website directly from a repository on GitHub. Explore website building tools like Jekyll. We are not going to be using Jekyll, we're going to be using Zola. Though, this is kind of what introduced me to the concept of static site generators. This is kind of what got me to do research on these tools. So here Jekyll is being suggested. Another one that I'd found, which was Python based. Uh, I don't remember what Jekyll is. I don't remember if Jekyll is Python based or something else. But another one that I found was Pelican, and there's probably a couple of other names that I might. Yeah, I guess that's it. And then Jinja is used with Pelican. Jinja is also a templating engine, but for Pelican. Well, not specifically for Pelican. It's its own thing, and Pelican is its own thing. I don't think Jinja is made specifically for Pelican, so I don't want to say that. But it is used with Pelican. It's the templating engine that gets used with Pelican. Um, Now, let's take a look at let's take a look at overview to get an idea. So what is GitHub Pages? You can use GitHub Pages to host a website about yourself, your organization, or your project directly from a repository on GitHub. Who can use this feature? GitHub Pages is available in public repositories with GitHub free and GitHub free for organizations, and in public. Okay, all right, that's fine. So for my account, it's available. About GitHub Pages. GitHub Pages is a static site hosting service that takes HTML, CSS, and JavaScript files straight from the repository on GitHub, optionally runs files through a build process, and publishes a website. You can see examples of GitHub page sites in, you know what? Okay, let's check it out. Let's see what that looks like. Let's see um, what cool stuff people have come up with. Uh, while that is loading, okay, it's loaded. The most popular HTML, CSS, and JavaScript framework. Find examples of projects using GitHub Pages. Pages.github.com. These are frameworks. Then there's government.github. Gather, curate, and feature stories of public servants and civil and civic hackers using GitHub as part of their open government innovations. Electronjs.org, square.github, a simple static portal which outlines our open source offerings. Twitter, open source website. Twitter's open source website identifying projects we've released, um, organizations we support, and the work we do to support open source. Netflix.github.com. That's interesting. Facebook React. Wait, hold on. Are all of these websites? Okay, let's open this up. So we have um, a bunch of files here. I'm assuming this is where is the website? Like, is getbootstrap.com currently being hosted on GitHub? I think so. Maybe. Hold on. Just a second. Designed and built with all the love in the world from the Bootstrap team with the help of our contributors. Okay, I'm gonna assume that this is being hosted on GitHub. I'm still a little confused. Okay, what is this? Doxify, a magical documentation site generator. Academicpages.github.io. Okay, so this might actually be a GitHub site. Um, a beautiful, simple, clean, and responsive Jekyll theme for academics. Okay, this is all topic based. Okay, all right. Let's. I'm still a bit. I'm still a bit confused. Are are the websites that we are looking at hosted on GitHub? Oh, also, I was mentioning earlier that I wasn't sure which language Jekyll is written in. It's written in Ruby. Actually, this is kind of interesting because this got me to check out Ruby for a very short period of time. And I mean, like, it was for that specific day. Like, I did a bunch of research. Um, surrounding Ruby. Maybe I did a bunch of more research the next day as well, but then I moved on from that very quickly because it didn't seem like a language that I would be sticking with for too long. Hold on. Examples of sites hosted on GitHub. Okay, GitHub collection, GitHub pages examples. Um, and this is bringing us to the same page, which is this. Find examples of, all right, okay. I'm just gonna guess that this is, all of these sites are being hosted on GitHub. Square dot, yeah, let's open this up. By the way, I was mentioning previously, okay, we can move on from this. So, I was mentioning previously that it's a static site generator, right? Something else that I didn't mention is that, just a second, let me close a bunch of these because it's gonna start eating up RAM. Oh, GitHub pages. Uh, Types of GitHub pages sites. There are two types of GitHub pages sites. Sites associated with a user or organization account and sites for a specific project. Source files must be stored in a repository named so and so, where owner is the personal or organization account name. Then you have project sites stored in a folder the repository that's named within the repository that contains the project's code. Limits maximum of 1 pages per site. Wait, hold on. Maximum of 1 pages site per account. Oh, as in one GitHub pages site account. I was like, are you talking about like one page for the website? But yeah, okay. Here it's maximum of 1 pages site per repository. Wait, so can we have project-based sites and also have um what do you call these? User sites? Yeah, let me look that up. What's the It says maximum of 1 pages site per account. And then maximum of 1 pages site per repository. Hosting on your own custom domain. You can host your site on GitHub's github.io domain or your own custom domain. Okay, we can look into that later. When a GitHub pages site is visited, the visitor's IP address is logged and stored for security purposes, regardless of whether the visitor has signed into GitHub or not. Okay. Um, Hold on. I need to look this up. how many sites can I host on GitHub? You can host one user. Um, Hold on, that's crazy. You can host one user or organization site and multiple project sites on GitHub, as long as each project has its own repository. You can host as many project sites as you want, provided you have separate repositories for each. I didn't know that. Hold on. Wait, this kind of changes things. This kind of changes things because I was under the impression that you can only have one website in total. Like overall, you can only have one website. And that's not the case. It's one website per user, like one user website, but then you can also have one website per project. Those are project specific sites. Give me a second. Let me read this completely. Okay, user and organization sites. You're limited to one user or organization site per account. Makes sense. And then project sites. Each repository can host one project site. Oh, there's going to be a difference in the link. Yeah, there's going to be a difference in the link because one is owner.github.io, that's the user site, and the other is owner.github.io slash repo name. So that's how you access that site, the project site. You can create as many repositories as you need, allowing you to host many project sites, and each project site is located at so and so. So it's mainly the link that changes. Let me just confirm again. What are the GitHub pages limits? Oh, they're talking about user usage limits here. Okay, GitHub Pages is not intended for or allowed to be used as a free web hosting service to run your online business, e-commerce site, or any other website that is primarily directed at either facilitating commercial transactions or providing commercial software as a service. GitHub Pages sites shouldn't be used for sensitive transactions like sending passwords or credit card numbers. In addition, your use of GitHub Pages is subject to the GitHub Terms of Service, including the restrictions on get rich quick schemes, sexually obscene content, and violent or threatening content or activity. That makes sense. GitHub Pages sites are subject to the following usage limits. You can only create one so and so. Okay, all right. GitHub Pages source repositories have a recommended limit of 1 GB. For more information, see so and so. Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem unless we start trying to host like photos and videos and stuff on there. Images also, we can manage to keep the size low. I don't think I'm gonna hit that limit. And this is like, I'm assuming it's a per repo limit, which is still a lot, like 1 GB. That's, at least for my purpose, it's gonna, it's more than what I need. Okay. Published GitHub Pages sites may be no larger than 1 GB. GitHub Pages deployment will time out if they take deployments will time out if they take longer than 10 minutes. GitHub Pages sites have a soft bandwidth limit of 100 GB per month. Okay, I'm assuming that's like, that is affected by, or that affects, how, what am I trying to say here? That is basically counted by how many people are visiting the website and how much content they're downloading. I'm assuming that's what the bandwidth counts towards. Then GitHub Pages sites have a soft limit of 10 builds per hour. This limit does not apply if you build and publish your site with a custom GitHub Actions workflow. In order to provide consistent quality of service for all GitHub Pages sites, rate limits may apply. These limits are not intended to interfere with legitimate users of GitHub Pages. If your request triggers rate limiting, you will receive an appropriate response with an HTTP status code of 429 along with an information HTML body. Okay, cool, cool. Great. Um, okay, so we'll get into the hosting side like on GitHub later on. For now, we should definitely get into this. Oh God, what did I just click? What does this open up? Wait, just just a second. I'm not sure what. Hold on. Okay. Let's. We can close a bunch of these things. I can open them up later on. I don't need to have them open right now. In fact, I think having them open is probably causing a slowdown. I don't think I should close the Reactor thing because I don't want to forget about Reactor because we're going to finish learning about Tokyo and then go back to learning about Reactor and then we can. Holy shit, there's so much that I have to learn, dude. There's so little time as well. Anyways, Um, I can close Ratatouille, and now the list is much smaller. It is not that big. I can close Strudel so I don't accidentally open it up. Um, I can keep the nano thing open, and we are good. Okay, all right. Now, oh wait, transition back. Okay, so what was I gonna do? Yeah, so we're gonna get into this. I did read a little bit of it, but I didn't really get too deep into this. I just realized I probably haven't installed Zola. That is gonna be an issue. Maybe, maybe I should start the installation, and that can, continue while I am reading this. I have no idea how long that installation is gonna take. Can I install through Cargo? Okay, Debian. Okay, okay. Where is Ubuntu? Did I miss Ubuntu? I'm actually looking for the cargo version. If there is, cargo install. Okay. To build Zola from source, you will need to have Rust and cargo installed. From a terminal, you can now run the following commands. Locked git. Okay. You know what? Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. I guess we can use this, or should I create a new thing? If I create a new thing, where is it gonna create? Okay, it created here, 29. Um, what is this? Oh, okay. Let's CD. Actually, we can CD into scratch stuff and then clear. There is an environment active here, so let's deactivate the environment. There. And now cargo install locked git https github.com/getzola/zola. Did I get that right? Hold on. Yeah, I think we are good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay. I was confused about that as well because like it showed locked in like, oh, maybe I got confused because of the font, because the font makes the L here look like a capital L. I was confused about that. I was like, why is locked being written in that way? Is there like a different way of? Anyways, so now Zola is installing, and yeah, I hope it's not. I hope it's not too big to install. I also hope it doesn't put too much stress on the system. Because like, okay, this is the amazing thing about the cargo install process, and even just the Rust build process in general. Just by default, the entire thing is multi-threaded, so it is going to use all of the cores that are available. It's going to use as many cores as it can. Um, and so when you're running it on where was I going with this? Yeah, when I run this on my machine, this specific machine that I'm currently installing it on, when the CPU load starts to get too much, the temperature rises, and immediately the fans are going to start making sound because the fan speed has increased. Oh my god, it has to build 532 32 crates. That's insane. Actually, can I click on this or do I have to? Because I want to show you guys what the build thing looks like. I think I can click on this, right? Yeah, I can. So if you look here, you can see what I was talking about with the usage. They're all at like 100% or close to 100%. And very quickly, the temperature will also start to rise. And eventually, when it becomes too much, which it's, I think once the temperature gets into the 70s, then the fans will start becoming loud. And just in general, even when the actually no, I don't think it's when the usage is at 100%. I think it's mainly the temperature. Once the temperature gets into the 70s, then it starts to make sound. But yeah, this is the Rust build process. This is or rather this is the load that the Rust build process has. Give me a second. Let me. Yeah. Okay. Okay. You know what? While this is happening, we can. Okay. This is the installation page. We can go back to the top and read the entire thing. Oh, there's the fan. There's the fan. Okay. It's starting to. Now it's in the 70s. So now the fan is starting to make some sound, and it's going to become louder. Oh, there's another thing about the build process. You need to make sure you have enough RAM, depending on how depending on how big the project itself is, because when there's a bunch of things being built. You look at Rust C over here. These two are taking so far 1.3 GB each, and then there's another Rust C that's taking uh, almost 700 MB, and even that is increasing. Oh my god. Okay, this is filling up the memory. Um, hold on, hold on. I didn't take this into account. Okay, okay. I think I can free up memory by closing the browser. Give me a second. Yeah, I'm gonna close the browser and free up some memory. In the meantime, let's see how is this doing. This is almost there, but it's gonna take some time. Though, okay, in terms of RAM, we are good because I closed the browser, so that gave us at least another GB and a half. Now we just need to wait for this thing to finish building. Oh, okay, it's getting louder. Oh my God. All right, we are almost there. 520, 522, 23, 24, 25. Okay, there it is. So we are at 530 now. A bunch of the other building is done. I think it's just a, yeah, it's the final binary that has to be prepared, and then we are good to go. Give me a second here. Okay. In the meantime, let's continue reading this. So, Zola is, holy shit, how far are we? How far into the stream are we? 47 minutes. That's crazy. Actually, give me a second here. Okay, yeah. Zola is a static site generator similar to Hugo, Pelican, and Jekyll. For a comprehensive list of SSGs, please see Jamstack. Okay. It is written in Rust and uses the Terra templating engine, which is similar to Jinja 2, Django templates, Liquid, and Twig. Content is written in Common Mark. This was interesting because I looked into Common Mark. There's a website. There's a website for the spec and to talk all about Common Mark. There is a community centered around this, and it's built by it's currently being worked on by a bunch of Markdown experts, like people who have used Markdown in various professional capacities in the industry, and they know the various issues that come with using Markdown, issues that I wasn't even aware of. I didn't know that, various different types of issues can occur when you are allowing Markdown to be used. So the Markdown language by itself apparently did have a couple of um, I don't know what to call them, a couple of things that weren't so desirable when you are trying to use a language, or when you're trying to incorporate a language into your product or your service or your workflow or whatever. And so to kind of mitigate that issue, they decided to work on something called Common Mark, And this way they have a proper spec. And when people are following that one common spec, they things are more deterministic. This isn't specifically just a markdown thing. Like a lot of there are a lot of other situations where this kind of thing is necessary. You need a spec that everybody follows, or that is being followed by multiple tools, because that's the only way that you can get deterministic results. And you know that things aren't just going to randomly break here and there. And when things do break, then you'll know exactly why they are breaking. So yeah, it says content is written in common mark. Also, let me mention, I don't exactly know the difference between common mark and markdown, so I need to do research on that, because I opened up the website yesterday, and then on the website itself, it starts giving you the whole history of markdown and common mark and stuff, and why it was necessary to make it, and um, um, who is working on it and stuff like that. But like, I didn't actually read the spec itself. Um, I actually don't want to read the spec. I want to read a tutorial on Common Mark. Oh, you know what? Common Mark, right? I could probably actually, if Common Mark is on, so Common Mark is supposed to be open source, right? If the spec is on GitHub or any other like Git repo, if the spec is on, wait, the following packages contain certain code that will be rejected by a future version of Rust. Quick XML. To see what the problems were, use so and so. Okay, but that doesn't seem to have caused an issue with the build process. It seems like the build process succeeded. So let's open up, let's type Zola version. Okay, we have Zola installed. Okay, next thing we need to do is, um, how do I go about this? So first we need to cd into the Scratch directory and open up Yahtzee here. And here we need to create, um, I'm just going to put this out there. In future, like by mistake, I could accidentally open up that file that says blacklist phrases. This is essentially a list of phrases that I have added to my Nightbot, to prevent various like spam attacks and various types of like abuses and things like that. Just over time, I just keep adding to the list. And there's a friend of mine whose Nightbot I manage. I put that in their spam protection as well, and I use it in my Nightbot as well. If I accidentally, hover the cursor over that file and it displays all the text, you're going to see a bunch of like very obscene stuff in there. So I'm just going to put it out there from now that it's meant for that purpose. It's meant to have blacklist phrases. Okay. Learning Zola. And then we'll open this up. Here we can create Zola proj 01. And then this is where we're going to do our, I don't know if CD is going to be accepted here. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, cool. It's just hard to tell when CD will and won't be, or when a copy operation will and won't be accepted. It's hard to figure that out. But anyways, oh, you know what? I didn't need to do that. I was CD'd into this already, right? I could have just learning Zola, and then there's only one thing in there, so we can, yeah. So now our thing is ready. Um, Here we can cd into Scratch stuff. Oh, we are in Scratch stuff. Learning Zola, and then this. So one of these is going to be for the development stuff, and the other is going to be for testing. Though the actual testing is going to be when we serve up the website and then visit the website, which fortunately, usually when these web servers are deployed, they are serving up the website to all of the computers on the network by default. So as long as that's the case, I should be able to access that web page from the browser on my streaming laptop. Okay, right. So Zola is a static site. Wait, we are done reading that. Content is written in Common Mark, a strongly defined, highly compatible version of Markdown. Zola uses pull down CMark to parse Markdown files. The goal of this library is 100% compliance with the Common Mark spec. Okay. It adds a few additional features such as parsing footnotes, GitHub flavored tables, GitHub flavored task lists, and strike through. All right. SSGs use dynamic templates to transform content into static HTML pages. Static sites are thus very fast and require no databases, making them easy to host. A comparison between static and dynamic sites such as WordPress, Drupal, and Django can be found here. Okay, that's fine. To get a taste of Zola, please see the quick overview below. Okay. First steps with Zola. Unlike some SSGs, Zola makes of no assumptions regarding the structure of your site. In this overview, give me a second. Yeah, okay. In this overview, where was I? Yeah, in this overview, we'll be making a simple blog site. This overview is based on Zola 0.19.1. So we are on 20 something, right? Yeah, 21. Okay. Please see the detailed installation instructions for your platform. With Zola installed, let's initialize our site. You'll be asked a few questions. I hope the questions don't reveal anything that's not supposed to be revealed. But yeah, let's do it. Zola init my blog. Welcome to Zola. Please answer a few questions to get started quickly. Any choices made can be changed by modifying the config.toml file later. What is the URL of your site? Should I pick a URL? I'm not sure. Um, I don't know. Let's say dblog.com. Oh God, what are you doing? Okay, HTTPS. I don't even know if I can add HTTPS there. Um, okay, let's go with the example. dblog.com. Do you want to enable SAS compilation? I don't know. Though they did say we can change the thing later on. So, do you want to enable syntax highlighting? Oh, I think the capital letters here are mentioning what is the default option. So SAS would have been, wait, can I close this? Okay. HTTPS. Man, okay, let's just do dblog.com. Okay, let's not do that, I guess. My bad. HTTPS dblog.com. Okay, do you want to enable syntax highlighting? Enable syntax highlighting where? This is supposed to be a editor thing, but okay, let's go with that. Do you want to build a search index for the content? This is okay. This I'm fortunately I know about this. This can specifically help with search options, like when you incorporate a search option, which for specific things I did want to incorporate a search option, though this is not just going to be a static site. I mean, this specific one is going to be a static site. My plan eventually, because I'm also planning on getting into the Dioxys library, my plan eventually is to add dynamicism using WASM through Dioxys. So fortunately, Dioxys is pretty much all written in, well, I don't want to say pretty much all until I've explored the entire thing, but the idea with Dioxys is that you can build your web app using Rust, using the Dioxys framework, and then that entire thing gets compiled to a WASM binary, and that WASM binary gets loaded through some JavaScript glue code. It gets loaded when the web page is loaded, or maybe with some other conditions. But generally you would load it when the web page is loaded. So through WASM, I can then control various components of the web page itself. And I'm glad that I found this out through the multiple different researches that I was doing that were web development focused. I found out that apparently it's not just because, like, initially I had this misconception that when you say it's a when you say it's a WASM app, um, it's gonna be, or just like a no, not a WASM app. When you say it's a single page app, when you say it's a web application, for some reason, in my mind it was like, okay, it has to be one container. Everything has to be contained within some sort of container. Um, Yeah. Sorry about that. Zoned out. Yeah. I had the misconception that everything has to be contained within some sort of container. And so I wasn't imagining that I would be able to control multiple components of the web page unless I had generated the entire web page myself through the program. And then that then brought me to my next concern, which was if the entire web page is being generated dynamically, then there's barely any content that's going to help with the SEO, and I definitely want to have content on the web page that helps with SEO. So I don't want everything to be, because like I want, because for example, I have the knowledge base, right? I want people to be able to visit those specific pages through Google itself. So I want hopefully the pages to come up in a Google search. Not that I'm hoping to achieve something big out of that. It's just that I want to make it as SEO friendly as possible and as SEO optimized, which doesn't, I think that's redundant to say because SEO is search engine optimization. So what I just said is I want to make it more search engine optimization optimized. So it doesn't make, I want to make it more SEO friendly. Let's just say that. Where was I going with this? Yeah, I do plan on making the the page well, I do plan on adding dynamicism, but I'm not going to be touching JavaScript for that. I'm going to be doing it all through Rust code, which I'm really excited about because I wanted to stick with Rust for as long as, or for as much of the work as possible. I didn't want to have to touch JavaScript at all, and now I don't have to. So the static content is still going to be, it's still going to be static. However, the WASM binary that's loaded through, which is the basically the Dioxys app. That binary, that app is what's going to control all of the elements that are already existing within the page. So that should be an interesting experience. I'm gonna get to test out. There's a bunch of like aesthetic stuff that I want to test out. A bunch of different like methods of animating the the elements in the web page. I want to see how creative I can get with it and how far I can go with my creativity. Like how how far I can go in terms of my creativity without hitting before hitting a limit for what I'm able to do. Anyways, let's continue with this. Search index. No. Okay, done. Your site was created in so and so. All right. Get started by moving into the directory and using the built-in server Zola Serve. Then visit. No, no, wait, hold on. Okay, so we'll move into my blog and then let's do Zola Serve here. Um, why was that so fast? 7 milliseconds. Why was that so fast, dude? Holy shit. That's crazy. Okay, give me a second. That was so fast. That was crazy fast. Wait, just a second. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I'm transferring some of my energy drink into a bottle that I can close. Dude, something just occurred to me. That is, since we can have per project websites as well. Actually, give me a second. I need to visit this website. What was the IP address of this? I think it's 103. Okay. Just a second. I'm just gonna test something here. 192.168. I believe it is 103, is it? I think so. I'm just gonna hope that's the case. Oh, wrong IP. Holy shit. Wait, it's not hosted on. I forgot. I was hosting this on another machine. Yeah, that was my mistake. Though, wait, Is it 103, 100? Um, says the connection has timed out. Where where is this supposed to be actually wait. I think I need to open up port 111. Yeah, I think I need to allow it through what's the fucking hold on, dude. What's the I don't even remember the IP. Give me a second. It is 100. So I'm supposed to be looking at 100. I need to allow connection on port 111. How do I do that? I believe I do have UFW. Just a second. Okay, UFW. Um, UFW status. Show firewall status. Status has number rules. Okay. Right. Okay. UFW status. Okay, so if I want to add allow rule. Okay, so UFW allow port 111. I think that's rule added. Okay. Since the rule has been added, just a second. I'm having trouble accessing this. I'm pretty sure I would be able to access this locally. Um, so like if I open up a browser on the other machine right now and try to access the website, it would be accessible. The thing is, it didn't give the LAN IP. It gave sort of a local IP. It gave that 127.0.0.1, and then the port number is 111. So wait, just a second. Okay, yeah, that's allowed. I can't remember why I denied port 10080, but okay, I can look into that later on. Right. 127.0.0.1 Okay. So the website works there. Okay, I need to look this up because this is not working. What if actually, okay, what if I try using, though from the browser on this machine, no, no, I need to talk to Gemini about this. So let's create a new thing. It might be a bit slow here. Let's go to the other machine. Um, yeah, let's open up Gemini here. Give me a second. I'm just doing a bit of troubleshooting. What is being displayed here? I'm not sure what this is. Oh, my bad. Um, now we should be good. And now when I transition back, okay, so I'm currently learning Zola. Um, I have, no, I'm trying to use Zola Serve to serve up the website for local testing. The issue is the server mentions that I can visit 127.0.0.1 on so and so to access the website. However, I want to access it from another machine that's on the network. When I try replacing 127.0.0.1 with 192.168.8.100, which is the LAN address of the same machine, where actually same is not required there, of the machine where the site is hosted. The connection times out. I have also tried adding an allow rule in UFW for port 1111. That doesn't seem to help either. Are there any settings I should change while using Zola Serve in order to accomplish what I'm uh, trying to accomplish? Okay, my concern is that because this is a code assist thing, Gemini is usually very quick to start trying to do shell commands to read stuff and um, read settings and stuff like that to analyze. Oh, wait. Yes, this is a common issue. By default, Zola Serve starts the development server on so and so, which means it only listens for connections from the local machine itself. To allow other devices on your network to access it, you need to tell Zola to listen on all network interfaces. You know what's interesting? I've been a programmer for more than a decade. No, hold on. I've been a programmer for 2 decades. No, I'm gonna say 2 decades because my programming journey started when I was pretty young. Because I had always been interested in programming, and I used to play around with computers a lot for years before that as well. Right? Throughout all this time, I never fully understood networking. Like, I don't mean I don't understand. Like, I understand stuff like the OSI model, for example, where you're 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 getting a conceptual idea of how the data transforms in various ways as it goes through various layers, like from your application down to the OS to the drivers to the hardware, out of your computer into the other, like to the router and over to the other computer or over to whatever internet server and all. I know about all of that higher level stuff, but like this whole thing about setting up a network and understanding how these how do I even say what I don't know? What I don't know, like what okay, I got a chance to explore it to a certain extent, but I never really got a chance to play around with it all that much. It's basically the idea of setting up a network. Let me just say it in that way. I never got a chance to explore networking from that point of view of like setting up a network, configuring devices to communicate in various ways, um, and understanding how how each of these devices can be how you can be a network admin, for example, like all the stuff that you would need to know to be a network admin. I never really took the time to explore all of those concepts, and I would like to explore that at some point because that can be very useful. I mean, I still know a fair bit of networking stuff, but like it's hard for me to mention exactly what it is that I never got a chance to play around with. But just let's just well, okay. Another reason why I didn't like like playing around with network interface level stuff and having to, I don't know, the change something like a subnet mask for a very specific reason, or having to change whatever DHCP specific setting for a very specific reason, having to configure the network interface. I guess that's the best way to put it. I never really got too deep into that subject, mostly because I never really had the need to do that. A lot of the stuff that I do, it requires pretty standard communication, so I never had the need to have like a custom configuration for the various network interfaces that are connecting my computers together. But I would like to learn about them at some point in the future. Yeah, I would love to learn about them at some point in the future. Before that, I want to see if there is a way that I can simulate the environment instead of having to set up proper physical hardware to do that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Anyways, so to allow other devices on your network to access it, you need to tell Zola to listen on all network interfaces. You can do this by specifying 0000 as the interface address. Try running the server with the interface flag. I want to confirm that this is the case. I want to confirm that this is how the thing works. So, okay, we need to stop the server and let's do Zola help. It does not mention interface. Zola serve help. This probably mentions interface. Yes, there it is. Um, I also don't remember if I have something running on. No, I think it would have blocked it if like the server probably wouldn't have been able to start if there was something running on that port, something either trying to listen on that port or trying to send to that port. Okay, Zola serve interface um, 0.0.0.0. This is so fast, dude. This is holy shit, dude. Okay. Anyways. Oh, I just realized that deny rule that I saw in my what do you call it, dude? In my UFW, my firewall, that rule might have been because when I was trying to troubleshoot another application, I might have added that rule thinking that the firewall was the blocking connections there. And then when I later realized that that wasn't the case, then because I didn't want to have it explicitly allowed, so I explicitly denied it. That might have been the case, and that might need to be the case now for this port as well, if that ends up being why, or if that ends up being unnecessary. There it is. Okay. So, this is our Zola website. Great. Awesome. So we have our website here. Um, okay, for our blog, let's accept the default values. Press enter for each question. Oh, could I have left the example thing as example? Which, to be fair, I'm not entering an address. I'm entering the IP address directly. So I don't think the name of the site matters. Or the URL, I should say. I don't think the URL of the site matters, though it needs something to add to the config.toml file. Speaking of which, I guess this is where we could probably open up. Yeah, let's go into my blog. We can probably open up this website, this project in NeoVim. So we have a bunch of directories here, and this is our config toml file. I should be careful opening these kinds of files. Hold on. Just a second. Wait. Okay, we're good. Um, base URL. The site will be built for. Okay, whether to automatically compile. Okay, so these are the settings that it was saying that we can change later on. Whether to do syntax highlighting. Theme can be customized by setting the highlight theme variable to a theme supported by Zola. Okay, all right. Um, yeah, dude. Wait, I think all of these are empty. Where's the web page that we are currently on? Is there no web page that we are currently on? Where's the index page? Um, oh, maybe this is like a, yeah, okay, to modify this page, create an index. You're seeing this page because we couldn't find a template to render. That is why. Okay, okay. So it's the server giving like a default page. Um, all right. We now have a my blog directory with the following structure. For reference, by the end of this overview, our my blog directory will have the following structure. Okay, awesome. So we have the content stuff, we have the templates. Okay. Change directory into the newly created my blog directory. All right. We'll first create some templates to describe the structure of our site. Okay. Templates. We'll first create some templates to describe the structure of our site. Homepage template. Let's make a template for a homepage. Create templates base.html with the following content. This step will make more sense as we move through this overview. Okay. All right. I'm starting to think that maybe my stream title might be a bit misleading because I said websites with Rust. To be fair, to be fair, um, if I were doing Dioxys stuff, then yeah, it would be websites with Rust because you would be using Rust to write all of the code for the web application. But like in this case, it's it's mainly the fact that this is a Rust-based tool. I'm still going to stick with this stream title, but and again, also to be fair, or rather, in my defense, I didn't know anything about Zola. Like we are currently learning about Zola, so I thought it might be Rust-based. So yeah, oops. Okay, where do you want me to create this? Templates. There's a templates folder already, so um, templates. What is it called? Base.html. Oh, I remember this. So this is the content that's going to be used as the base for a bunch of the other template files. So in the other template files, you don't have to write all of this. This is essentially boilerplate code that'll get added to all of those other files. So in all of those other files, the amount of code that you have to write is much smaller. Okay. All right. Let's see how. Okay, I was hoping for a bit better. Oh, oh, okay. Hold on. Okay, I thought I was getting like errors, but it's not errors. I was disappointed for a second. I was like, okay, IntelliSense isn't gonna help, but no, it is helping. It is definitely helping. Okay, so then we have. Actually, no, I might be wrong about this one. I'm not sure. HTML, and then that added that. So okay, all right, right. So here we need a head tag And inside that, we need a meta tag. Um, I think I'm just going to leave those blank, but I need char set to be UTF. What just happened? Okay, I need char set to be UTF-8, and then here I need title. So this is where very basic HTML knowledge can help. And well, later on, if you are making themes and stuff, then more advanced HTML knowledge can also help. But at the very least, some basic HTML knowledge can be helpful here. Okay, div class container. Oh, class, I believe it's for what was I saying? Yeah, class, I believe it's for CSS purposes. I think so. And I think this is where the Terra templating language comes in. Okay, block, content, and then end block, content. And I guess that's it. Then what's next? Now let's create index.html with the following content. Okay. Um, templates index.html. Right. So um, this extends our base.html file. Then block content. Where's, okay, there it is. H1 class equals title. This is, wait, what's, yeah, this is my blog made with Zola. Okay, and block content. Okay, this tells Zola that the index.html extends our base.html file and replaces block, oh, wait, yeah, and replaces the block called content with the text between block content. Replaces, wait, block content and block content. I haven't understood that last part. This tells Zola that index.html extends our base.html file and replaces the block called content. Okay, so this is a block called content. That's why we have block and end block. Okay. And replaces the block called content. I should be careful with this. Hold on, dude. Okay, and replaces the block called content with the text between the block content and end block content tags. It replaces a block called content. Where is the block being defined exactly? Is it here? Yeah, okay. So Here we haven't specified anything. So I'm guessing um, for index.html, it's going to use this entire boilerplate code, but then it's going to, for index.html, it's going to replace the block section, which is currently empty. It's going to replace that with this, with our h1 thing. Okay, blog template. To create a template for a page that lists all blog posts, create templates/blog with the following content. Um, this is a new page. Yeah, okay. So templates blog.html. Okay, extends base.html. Okay, block content. There should be an end block content as well. Okay, so here um I need to check something. Yeah. So here's what we're gonna do for this. Let's yank that, and then we're good to go. All right. So um, I think we just need to copy this. It's title and section.title. I'm guessing section.title is one of the data things that Zola is gonna provide, or well, Zola is gonna give. Zola is gonna tell it where to find it, but then I'm gonna be defining what the title is in like a separate. It's gonna pull it from the content page. So let's yank this and come here. That's not what I meant to do. Um, yeah, let's come here, paste, and this can be section.title. Okay, so that's done. Then we need what I'm, if I remember right, this is an unordered list. So there's a start, there has to be an end. Okay, if you are using pagination, section.pages will be empty. You need to use the paginator object for pages in section.pages. I'm not sure what's going on here. I guess we'll find out later on. Okay, for page in section.pages. Oh, and then there's an end for. Okay, list. This is a link, I believe. Yeah, A is supposed to be for a link. And the link here is page.permalink or safe. Not sure what this means. And hold on. Okay, in here I'm supposed to put page.title. Okay, page.title. Do the spaces do something here? I'm not sure. Okay, so that's done. Great. As done as done by index.html, blog.html extends base.html. But in this template, we want to list the blog posts. Here we also see expressions such as so and so section. Where was that? Wait, did I miss that? Oh, okay. It's just talking about like section dot title, section dot pages. Okay. Also page dot so and so. Yeah. Page dot title, page dot permalink, which will be replaced with values from our content when Zola combines. Okay. Yeah. So I was right earlier that Zola is going to provide the content. Zola is going to use these and like replace it with the content that we provide in the content pages. Where was I? Yeah. Content from our content when Zola combines content with this template to render a page. In the list below the header, we loop through all the pages in our section. In the list below the header, we loop through all the pages in our section. Blog directory, more on this when we create content, and output each page title and URL using so and so, respectively. We use the safe filter because the permalink doesn't need to be HTML escaped. Escaping would cause slash to render as that. Okay. Right. Blog post template. Oh, finally we go into the content section. Okay, give me a second here. Okay, blog template. This is a blog template. Then we have the blog post or blog page template. We have templates describing our homepage and a page that lists all blog posts. Let's now create a template for an individual blog post. Create templates so and so with the following content. I don't think I need to write all of that again, so I think I'm just gonna copy this entire thing and paste it into the new file. So blog page.html. Okay. Right. And then here we are supposed to change this to page. And then we have P. I believe that stands for paragraph. Class equals subtitle. Then strong. I'm not sure what strong does. I'll look into that later. And in here, page.date. And then we do page.content save. Oh, what just happened? Okay, all right. Right. I think that's it. Great. Note the safe filter. Okay. Zola live reloading. Now that we've outlined our site structure, let's start the Zola development server. Let's start the Zola development server in the my blog directory. Okay. If you point the web browser to so and so, you will see a message saying this is so and so. Okay, if you go to blog, you will currently see 404, which we will fix next. Blog. I don't want to type the link. I don't want to type in the. Hold on. Um, yeah, blog. All right, there it is. Not found. Okay, we'll now create. We'll now create some content that Zola will use to generate site pages based on our templates. Okay, sections. We'll start by creating content blog index. This file tells Zola that blog is a section, which is how content is categorized in Zola. In the index, in the index file, we'll set the following variables in TOML format. Note that although no variables are mandatory, the opening and closing markers, I'm going to call this, are required. Okay, sort by date, then template, then page template. Wait, template tells Zola to use blog as a template for listing the markdown files in this section. Okay, in this section specifically. So what is the link that we are providing there? Content slash blog. So I'm guessing that directly maps to like the, let's say example.com slash blog. I'm guessing content.blog directly maps to that. And then where did we place? Oh, they're all part of the template. What's the templates? They're all part of the templates directory. Okay. Oh, sorry, zoned out. Okay. Uh, template. This tells Zola to use templates slash blog as the template for listing the markdown files in this section. All right. And then page.template tells Zola to use templates blog page.html as the template for individual markdown files. For a full section, no, for a full list of section variables, please see the section documentation. I haven't fully understood what classifies as a or what qualifies as a section, which is how content is categorized. This file tells Zola that blog is a section. Is this going to take us to? A section is created whenever a directory or subdirectory in the content section contains an index.md file. If a directory does not contain an index.md file, no section will be created, but markdown files within that directory will still create pages, known as orphan pages. The home page, i.e., the page displayed when the user browses to your base URL, is a section which is created whether or not you add an index.html file at the root of your content directory. If you do not create an index.md, did I say index.html? No, I meant index.md. MD file in your content directory. This main this main content section will not have what hold on. If you do not create an index.md file in the content directory, this main content section will not have any content or metadata. If you would like to add content or metadata, you can add an index.md file at the root of the content directory and edit it just as you would edit any other index.md file. Your index.html template will then have access to that content and metadata. Okay. Um, I still haven't fully understood that concept, but I'm just gonna let that be. Okay, so here we'll start by creating content, so and so, so and so. All right. So content, blog. Wait, if the blog folder doesn't exist, then that's gonna cause an error, isn't it? Or is it gonna create the directory? Content blog index dot. That is not what was supposed to happen. Where did it create the thing? And where is this created? Where is this being saved? Okay, it only create. Fine, I had to save the thing in order for it to be in order for the directory to be created. All right. Okay. And in here we do title equals list of blog posts. Then we do sort underscore by equals date. Then template equals blog.html. Did I write template? Template. Page template equals blog page.html. All right, done. That's interesting. I've only ever used the minus thing to create lines in a markdown file. I didn't know that plus also does that. Like, um, hold on, let's do it here. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. I've only ever done this. I've never used plus. Okay, so that's saved. The value of our title variable here is available to templates such as blog.html as section.title. Okay, so this is how the data is being prepared. So this is section.title. This is section.title, but in this specific area, within this specific directory, because it makes um, it makes a difference that this is within content slash blog slash index.md. This section.title could mean something else, could hold a different value if we are doing it in content slash, I don't know if other names, like if random names are accepted, but like let's say in content slash abc slash index.md, section.title might mean something else there. Well, not mean something else. That's not what I mean. What I mean is that in that case, it's going to be taken from that specific, like section.title in that case would be taken from that title thing, that file within that directory, not from, blogs index.md. I'm guessing that's how it works, but let's see. If you now go to blog, you will see an empty list of posts. Okay, let's test that out. Okay, refresh. Now, nope, that's not the case. That is not the case. I think I made a mistake somewhere here, because the way that the thing is being displayed has changed, but that's about it. Like, oh, you know what? It says not found. It doesn't say 404 anymore. It just says not found. I'm not really even sure if that change occurred because of the change that I just made, or if that's just the browser's different way of showing that change. Give me a second. Okay. All right. Um, yeah. What am I doing wrong here? Error, failed to build the site, failed to render section so and so reason, failed to render blog.html, variable sections. Oh, I said sections not found. That is my fault. Yeah, okay. That's why it's not working. It's because I made a mistake. Let me go and find my mistake. All right. Um, so what about now? Yeah. Okay. Now, that's crazy. It's still saying, wait, it says reloading only template. Is there anything else that needs to be reloaded? Because it's supposed to be displaying an empty list of some sort. Page.title, okay. Section.title, section.pages. Have I made any mistakes somewhere here? Page.title, page.date. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, is this what's supposed to be happening? Is this the result I'm supposed to be seeing? Because it mentioned you will now see an empty list of posts. Wait, what if I do Control F5? Nah, still nothing. Wait, does that slash matter? I don't know if the slash matters. Give me a second. Let me. No, the slash did not matter. It didn't make a difference. Okay, I'm not sure. Wait, I just realized something. I had, hold on, I had this thing open. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, dude, I'm not sure what is the issue. Did I make a mistake in the path maybe? Templates.blog page, content, blog, underscore index.html, dot md, not html. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. However, I did just notice the time, so give me a second. Oh, you know what? I like this. I hope it's not like follower only, verified accounts only, or anything. Nope, we are good. So there's somebody named Zed Shirogane who is currently doing something aquarium related. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. Um, but we're gonna go hang out in this person's stream. Yeah. So that's gonna be it for today's stream. Um, Man, I'm loving this streak that we are on. I'm streaming like much more regularly now, and I'm super happy about that. Even if I end up missing, like maybe a day or 2 days in between, I'm still able to like continue the thing, and I'm happy about that. We've been making some good progress, and now that I've started with this web development thing, I'm definitely gonna go deeper into it, and hopefully, learn to build websites with it before I go back to, I believe it was Tokyo. Actually, there's also Dioxys that I need to look into, but that's probably going to be at some point later. I don't think I'm going to touch Dioxys for now. I think for now I'm going to learn how to do static websites and stick with just the static stuff. Later on, I can play around with the Dioxys and try and make things dynamic. That being said, that's going to be it for today's stream. I hope you guys have a nice day, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.